Welcome to the ATA podcast, where we talk to former elite athletes sharing their insights and wisdom derived from successfully transitioning into life beyond the game. Very warm welcome to the Athlete Transition Accelerator. I'm delighted today to welcome Jack Baldwin, a professional footballer, and a little bit of something different on the podcast because, Jack, it's fair to say you're very much in the eye of the storm of transition. All manner of things could happen in the next chapter. We're going to touch on them today. So first and foremost, very warm welcome. Thanks for spending time with us on the podcast.
That's all right, James. No, delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So just give us a little bit of an overview of Jack. Obviously, as I've said, professional footballer. Just give us a bit of a sort of snapshot, how long you've been a professional footballer, some of the clubs you've been at, Jack, just to set the sort of scene for us.
Yeah, so Jack Baldwin, professional footballer. Just finished the season with Colchester United that was plagued by injury, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that was my 14th or 15th season in professional football.
Good man.
Yeah, started at Hartlepool, played for Peterborough, Sunderland, Bristol Rovers, Salford. I've been up in Scotland at Ross County, Northampton and Colchester. So I've fairly well travelled, to say the least.
Yeah. Good for you. And we always say anybody who can sustain professional sport over the longer term, which you've certainly done, is to your absolute credit. Now, obviously, where you are currently, Jack, I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, but it's fair to say, isn't it, that you're keeping your options open on the professional side. The season's just finished and you're considering what comes next. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, touched on at the start, this year I've had a rough year for injuries. I've only, probably played about 150 minutes of football all in. So this summer's going to be, a challenging one. Obviously, I'm aging a little bit now. I'm in a position that kind of, as a centre back, you're kind of judged as kind of the big laborious figures on the team. So yeah, I mean, people are not really jumping at the opportunity to sign an aging centre half. So this summer's going to be challenging. So we'll kind of see what comes up, if anything, just kind of take it day by day, week by week.
Good on. And listen, Jack, I appreciate your candor because that, I know how challenging this year has been for you and any athlete that's listening to this, whether they're still practicing their discipline or whether they've retired, will have had moments, will have had periods, will have had seasons like you've had, which is immensely challenging mentally as much as anything else because you want to be out there and you can't be out there. But that's why I suppose bringing it back into the world that we're in with Athlete Transition Accelerator, we're so passionate about trying to help people prepare because you look after yourself, you condition yourself well, but just sometimes luck goes against you and these injuries come. And we sincerely hope it's not the case for the majority of athletes, but on occasion, those injuries are so severe that your career comes to a premature end. And then the stress levels rise and the uncertainty comes to the fore about what on earth am I going to do next? How am I going to pay the bills? So I think what I want to do is just pull out a couple of things that I admire about you, Jack, some of the things that we've encouraged athletes to do in all of the conversations that Carl and I have, which you sort of bring to life. So I think a couple of things top of mind are be proactive and be curious. Now, from my perspective, looking out from within ATA, Jack, we have a number of calls, a number of interactive sessions, one-to-one, group sessions over Zoom, etc. And it's fair to say you visited a number of those, didn't you? You joined us, you listened into different things that we were doing without necessarily, you didn't commit to some of those early conversations. So I just want to sort of get your perspective on that. You were obviously keen to be proactive and you are obviously exploring your own curiosity about what do I want to do and what's coming next.
Yeah, I think for me, James, obviously over the years, I mean, it was probably about 12 years ago, I suffered massive knee injury, tore my cruciate, my medial, my lateral ligaments, my hamstring, like where it attaches behind the knee into the lower leg, like that came off the bone. That was repaired, meniscus damage. So at the age of 21, I was in the consulting room with the surgeon, and he said, like, 15, 20 years ago, you're probably looking at having to hang your boots up. Like he said, like that could have been it. It was such an extensive injury. Thankfully, He done an amazing job, and 12 months later, I was able to kind of roll back out onto the pitch. So
Fabulous.
yeah, so really from the age of 21, I've always not stressed, but I've always had that thought in the back of my mind that this could come to a finish at any stage.
Yes.
So yeah, over the years, I've kind of, like you said, I've been curious. I've tried to dip my toe into different things and kind of see if anything sparks that interest. PT course,
Yep.
financial advice, obviously the exploration calls with yourself and Carl, medical sales, business of sport, everything that you guys have put on as well, and even
Yep.
just conversations on LinkedIn. I've listened to your podcast, like club sponsors and things like that over the years, like
Yep.
just have these conversations and get to know what different people do in different industries. And yeah, it's something that I'm passionate about, because as you've said in previous pods as well, like you, even if something doesn't work, you can have a positive spin on it and be like, well, you've ruled out something that you know you're not going to want to do.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, obviously a bit of a long-winded answer there, but
No,
yeah,
no, it's a
it's
great
been a
answer,
long
Jack.
time. It's been a long time in the process, that's for sure.
Yeah, and do you know, I didn't realize you'd had such a severe injury back at the start of your career. So you've experienced almost like standing on the edge of that precipice, looked into it, and being able to pull back from it. So I think no, it's a great answer. And again, just going back to some of those calls, you mentioned them there. One of our overarching initiatives is we've called it Success Beyond Sport, which is all about how do we build training programs that allow people to start exploring different industries, seeing if they resonate, and building up a skill set and an insight to help them step into that. So you mentioned a couple there. One big area is medical sales. We found that a lot of ex-athletes excel and perform really well in that space. Another area is the business of sport. A lot of athletes are keen to explore the variety of roles that exist off the field, but staying connected to that sporting passion. Neither of those actually proved to be the thing that was right for you. The one that was right for you, Jack, was our property arm of the Success Beyond Sport program. So, what about that spoke to you, Jack? What made you want to step into that training program with us and explore that initiative?
Yeah, I think if I just quickly touch on the other two, obviously the medical sales sparked like a little bit of an interest because before I actually signed professional, I was going to uni to do physiotherapy, study physiotherapy.
Okay.
So I've always kind of been intrigued by like the body, and obviously going through a big injury. I've been in theatre, had surgeries over the years, and the medical sales thing was kind of me. An option for me to kind of go and experience that world without actually being hands-on and obviously speaking with surgeons, whatever it might be. Obviously, I didn't
Yes.
go down that route, so I don't understand the full capacity of it. But that was what sparked that interest a little bit.
That makes
Obviously,
sense.
the
Yeah.
business of sports stuff. Obviously, having played sport for so long, trying to understand the politics, what goes on in the boardrooms, all that side of thing. Obviously, that naturally curious about that as well, but it just wasn't something that I could see myself doing on a full, like when I finished playing.
Yep.
Um, and then obviously, yeah, with the property stuff that came up, I think I've over the years, I think I've moved homes 11 or 12 times,
Oh, right.
all over the country, northeast, northwest, southwest, Scotland, all while dragging a young family around with me. So I
Hmm.
understand the pressures, I understand the challenges. I've worked with a lot of estate agents. I know what experiences I enjoyed. I know what experiences I didn't enjoy. I love looking at houses. I love, um, like most people, probably dreaming on Rightmove, looking at all
Yeah.
the big houses. But there was a lot of things that kind of come together, and I thought, yeah, I think that would be something that I would be good at, having been through that experience on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
So obviously, yeah, got on the discovery calls and learning a little bit more about it. I thought, yeah, that's something that I think I can enjoy, make work, and yeah, hopefully create a successful business out of.
No, perfect. And I think obviously for people that don't know about that program, we've partnered with Associate Yopa so that we're doing that, ATA with Associate Yopa with a view that you can take somebody with no experience all the way through to being able to establish their own estate agency. And I think, again, to your credit, Jack, what we always advocate you've been doing, this has all been done whilst you were trying to battle back from injury. It fit around your training commitments. It wasn't something that conflicted with training. We did it deliberately in a way that you could access the training sessions with us or with Associate Yopa without in any way, shape, or form compromising what you were doing professionally. Is that a fair point? Just reflecting back on it, Jack, it was something you were able to do without feeling like, oh, I'm taking my eye off my football career here. It was something that was running alongside, not conflictual.
Yeah, and obviously the sessions were scheduled in for like days off. Obviously, um, trying to get everybody's schedule to line up is obviously poses its own
Yeah.
challenges. But yeah, even like an hour in the evening on, I don't know, a Tuesday night or whatever it might be, there was always that flexibility from everybody to try and make it work. And yeah, I mean, you could spend an hour doing a lot worse things on a Tuesday night than sitting learning about a potential business career after in my case football. So yeah, listen, it's again listening to your pods, we get loads of downtime as
Mhm.
athletes. Obviously, we do the things we need to do recovery wise, stretching, gym, foam rolling, whatever it might be, going for a walk, cycling. But around that, there is a large periods of time that you can fill with something worthwhile.
Yes. No, well said, Jack. And it's something we challenge athletes with all the time. Cal and I have been on that side of the fence. There's no patronization. We're not condescending. We're not in any way insulting people. But whether you're in elite sport or not, we're all struggling to find time. We only have to pick up our phone and look at our search history, our scroll history, and realize, oh, I could probably find an hour here or there. So, to your credit, you did that. I think walking the walk rather than just talking the talk is always important. So you can do training courses. There's plenty of them out there that you finish it, it goes to back of mind and you move on. And it's like, well, yeah, that was interesting. But in your case, Jack, what's exciting is you've gone through the training program and tell us where you are now. So tell us what you have got established now in terms of your own property sort of vision.
Yeah, so I've obviously been through the onboarding process with Yopa. Had the kind of internal training on the online websites that they give you. There's training bits to do on there, so obviously gone through all of that.
Yes.
A couple of like external like gurus, so to speak, calls with them and learning sessions with them. So I think that I don't know whether this will change in the future, but at the moment, the estate agency world isn't heavily regulated. So you've not got to go through tons of hurdles and hoops to jump through to get to a point where you can go and speak to people about selling their house and helping them buy their new house. So yeah, I'm at a point now where I could get a call tomorrow. Somebody's interested in selling their house, and I'm out in the field going to meet with them, having those conversations, valuing their house, putting it on the big portals like Rightmove, Zoopla, arranging the marketing, the photos, obviously everything that comes with selling a house. A
Yeah.
lot of people just see the description and the pictures, but obviously there's a lot that goes on before it gets to that stage, and then yeah, and then you're into the speaking with solicitors, conveyancers, and all that side of things. So it's a long process. It is there's no secret in the fact that selling a home in the UK is a long process. But yeah, if somebody wanted to do it tomorrow or today, then yeah, I
You're
can go
ready.
straight
You're
with
ready.
it.
So the wonderful thing, I mean, what you've said there is you now have your own estate agency in essence. So let's give it the first shameless plug, Jack. What's it called? What have you called
It's it's just my name. It's just Jack Baldwin Property.
it? Does what it
So
says on the tin though, doesn't it?
yeah, I'm trying to obviously. It's really um, a new experience for me trying to put myself out there on social media with like video content and
Yes.
full front facing content. It's always normally just pictures of me kicking a ball or heading a football.
So how have you found that? Because I know again, not to embarrass you, I think you're doing some great stuff, particularly on LinkedIn, which is where I spend a lot of time. not putting words in your mouth again, Jack, but it's uncomfortable, but you've really just challenged yourself, it looks like, to say, I've got to get out of my comfort zone. This is part of my next chapter. I need to build the brand. I need people to understand what I'm doing. And so I've got to get out there. How have you found it?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's, especially for us as athletes, it's a fantastic place to be and get yourself on. To sign up to LinkedIn is one of probably the better things that I've done in recent years. I'm very I'm very happy to put words out there, like content with stories, my personal vulnerabilities. I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine. I get a lot of interaction through it. Equally, there's a lot of young professionals on there looking to either break into football or work in football and industry and balance the two. So LinkedIn I see as a bit of a place where I can kind of give my journey, so to speak, about the transition mostly, but just trying to equally build that personal brand really, where people can look at my profile and get value from either from the transition or from my career, what I've learned over the years, whatever it might be. I've enjoyed posting on LinkedIn. It's the kind of the Instagram, the Facebook, the trying to put your face on the camera and and speak to the camera like you're speaking to hundreds of people on the other side. So
you've done a great job. You've done a great job with it, Jack. And again, that's something. Again, it sounds like, I'm patting us on the back. It doesn't mean to come across like that, but it is something we touch on within the Success Beyond Sport program, isn't it? We just, a little bit of time around how best to maximize those channels, particularly LinkedIn. And I think you're seeing the traction of that. Yes, you've learned some theory, but then you've got to go and do what you've done, put it into practice. And anybody that follows you on LinkedIn, connects with you, will see that you're getting great traction. There's a diversity of communication, as you say. Some of it's personal, some of it's about the transition, some of it's about the property. And so you've put into play, and hopefully anybody that's listening thinking, oh, I'm not sure I could do that, I'd encourage them to come and look at your profile and go, oh, well, Jack's still playing and he's doing this and he's building this. Well, if he's doing it, I can do it. So I think, is that, again, it sounds like it's all ATA self-promotion here, Jack, but is that a fair assessment? Like anything in life, there's a theory, but you've got to go and do it, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think I've kind of been guilty of doing that over the years, is like doing all like the pretty stuff, but then when it actually comes down to the nitty-gritty of, like, say, like posting a post or whatever it might be, then you just gotta, what's the phrase? You've got to feel the fear, but do it anyway. And I think for us as athletes, especially people are intrigued by us. Obviously, I just live a normal family life at home, so I always kind of find it a bit strange that people like want to speak to you, but and ask you questions about playing football, or what does your training schedule look like, or do you get given a diet to eat? Like all these questions, like, people want to interact with you. So
yes,
I think LinkedIn is a great place to be, because you never know who you're going to cross paths with on there. You could be speaking to somebody who works in a solicitor, or like is the CEO of a local solicitor firm, or a local plumbing company, whatever it might be. But at some point over the year, like, you might cross paths again, and it might be, oh, like we spoke a little while ago, and
yes.
I've been proactive on there, connecting with anybody and everybody, just to get insights from like different industries and how other people's journeys look.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're a great example of a student, and we said at the start, didn't we? Curiosity. We can learn from everybody. One of our mantras is accelerated learning. Whatever you look at in life, being a good parent, being a good husband or wife, being a good footballer, looking after your diet, building a business, getting into the property world, very rarely do we step onto a road that nobody's ever walked. So it makes sense to look at the people around us, learn from people, what's gone well for them, what's not gone well. And I think also what's really exciting about this program and what you've done, and what hopefully is so attractive to other athletes, is we all know that people buy and sell houses regularly. It's one of the few things that pretty much everybody's got an understanding of. You're on a world-class level. You've done it, 12 or 13 times, you said. But everybody's moved house at some point. Everybody's had really good experiences where they've been well looked after by an estate agent that's very attentive and done exactly what they need. And equally, a lot of people have had bad experiences. So when you're building a network, there's nothing manipulative in that. It's just you let people know, hey, if you are interested in buying or selling, maybe I might be a good fit. And there's not many things in life, fashion, very divisive. Some people like things, some people don't, food, entertainment, but actually buying and selling a home is something that unites pretty much all of us as adults, isn't it? Especially in the UK, people are always moving. So as a business model, there's lots of potential for growth, isn't there, Jack? And your connections and your network, you don't know who's going to come to the fore and say, help me, Jack, help me buy or help me sell.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like initially I've just focused on trying to build a presence in my local community, like the area that
Yes,
I live in. But eventually down the line, I want to be somebody that if you play football, if you play sport, whatever it might be, they're thinking, right, I need to sell my house. Oh, Jack Baldwin, he sells houses. He used to play football. He knows what I'm going through. He
100%.
he used to be an athlete. He knows my challenges around my schedule. My might be going
Yes.
away on tour for a couple of months, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be that person where people can go to and just know that they'll be in good hands. There'll be good communication. There'll be regular updates. If they need anything, then I'll be there to try and make that process as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I've been there many
And I
times.
think that's so important. I think that vision will come to pass, Jack, because empathy is so important, isn't it? And there's nothing more powerful than any professional athlete, particularly a footballer, saying, "Oh, I've got to move. It's stressful. My wife or my husband's unsettled, and we've got to move with the family. And I've got young kids, and straight away, I've been there, done it multiple times. This needs to be stress free." And anybody sitting there thinking, "Well, this would be interesting for me to explore as well," because we've all been in dressing rooms, and anybody who has been in a dressing room knows, particularly in professional sport, nobody stays there forever. There's always ins and outs every year. And therefore, when people are leaving a club for whatever reason, contract expiry, falling out of favour, injuries, whatever it may be, invariably they've got to sort the house out. And equally, when people are joining the club, they're already stressed about how do I fit in? Will the coach like me? Will my kids settle in school? Will my wife settle? Etc. etc. Oh, and I've got to find somewhere to live. So I do see you and a raft of other athletes excelling in this area because you've got the empathy, and every elite athlete knows I will probably move around a little bit. And therefore, it's very difficult. Very few people say, "I'll go and join a club and I'll stay there for 20 seasons." It's a rarity, isn't it? So, yeah, I love that. I love that vision that you've got, Jack. Now, I suppose one other question that's rattling around in my head is what you're going through is undeniably stressful. You're a very humble guy, and I think you have a very positive outlook. So I'm not looking for you to say, "Oh, it's horrendous." I know it's challenging, but I'm not dismissing that in any way. I'm just wondering, having done what you've done, you now sit at a bit of a crossroads. Maybe you're going to play more professional football, maybe not. Maybe you're going semi-professional, maybe not. We've got to keep all options open. But you've built a business now. You've got your own estate agency in Jack Baldwin Property. Does that take some of the stress level down a bit, some of the anxiety down a bit, that you're not, well, if this doesn't work out and there isn't another season of professional football, what am I going to do? Again, I keep saying it, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to get your perspective on how you feel now that you've built a business alongside your football.
Yeah, I think I'll never be at a position where I'm not stressed because I'm quite like that's just in my nature. Like I've always stressed about stuff that I probably shouldn't. So in that sense, no, it does. I'm not stressed, but like I say, yeah, I'm at a bit of a crossroads this summer, especially. But I do feel more settled knowing that if I wasn't to get another full-time contract somewhere and it was to maybe go and play part-time
Yeah.
elsewhere, then I know I've not got to run around searching for something else to do. I can then focus and channel the efforts into the estate agency, into trying to drum up some business, because obviously at the moment I'm doing that, but at a much slower pace.
Yes, of course, because
Um,
you've got a foot on both camps, haven't you? So no, it
yeah,
makes perfect sense. And just on the point of drumming up business, Jack. So what's the best way for people to connect with you? If people are interested, saying, "I like the sound of Jack, I like his story, I want to know more about Jack Baldwin Property," where would you say best place to find you is?
yeah. So obviously Jack Baldwin on LinkedIn, but elsewhere, just Jack Baldwin Property, Facebook, Instagram. I've got a YouTube and a TikTok as well. But
Brilliant. Good
yeah,
man. Yeah, so
much
we'll put all of
appreciated.
those links into the show notes as well, because I think that people will naturally want to gravitate. So we'll make sure it's all there for people to click in and get through to you. So just a couple of final questions from my perspective, Jack. What would you sort of, we always often ask with podcast guests a do and a don't, in terms of the benefit of hindsight, looking at their transition. Now, I know it's a slightly trickier question for you because you are still at that crossroads, and we're not saying that the football chapter's finished. Nonetheless, you're in that sort of half in, half out. You've been exploring things this year. If you said, if I was sharing a do that to young athletes, young footballers particularly coming behind me, something that I'd say, do this because it will help you when you stop, and maybe a don't do this, and it will help you when you come to transition. What comes to mind on that question, Jack?
Yeah, I think on the do side of things, it's like you said, explore all you can while you're playing. Be curious, speak to new people, new industries, go and meet the sponsors after a game, just have a chat, ask them about their career, what they do. Because I don't think, like, obviously I said I started at 21 worrying about what I was going to do after football. I don't think you can start that too early. There's a lot of young professionals now that are building their personal brands on social media. They're getting themselves into property, whether it's buying, selling, sourcing, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And they're building that, and that will only grow, and that will grow even quicker the earlier you start it. So I think, yeah, just be proactive, explore everything. There's no such thing as a bad question. People want to speak to you.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to message someone and say, "Oh, great to connect. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of quick questions about your journey?" They'll be thrilled that an athlete has reached out to them. So
exactly. Well said. No, that's a great do. Great do.
Yeah.
What about on the don't side of things then?
On the don't side, it'd probably just be the opposite to that. Just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody deserves a bit of downtime. If you're into PlayStation, if you're into watching YouTube videos, whatever it might be, there's obviously a place for that. But just don't let time pass you by, because it's a short career.
Yeah.
In whatever sport people are playing, any athlete, it's a short career. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, great advice. And I've got to hit you with a quick fire, Jack, just to wrap things up, because these always prove popular with people. You've probably heard these on some of the other podcasts. If you haven't, I'll give you no time to think and just hit you with them. So, best piece of advice you've ever been given, Jack? Could be professional sport related, life related, doesn't matter. But if you're like, well, do you know what? I'd share that one. That's something that resonated with me. What comes to mind on that one?
The best piece of advice I probably received was when I was at college. One of my teachers said, the nerves that you feel before a competition or an exam or whatever, it's the same, like it's the same hormone as when you're excited. So if you can just retrain your mind to, when you feel those nerves, to feel excited, then yeah, you can I don't know what the word
channel
is.
it.
You can channel it in a different way. Yeah, exactly.
It's great advice. And for anybody with children, that has worked so well. That's a piece of advice I was given. I use it with my daughters a lot. It's good to feel that. It means it matters. You're excited. Go and enjoy it.
It means your body's ready. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, it means you're ready.
Your body's ready.
Yeah, love it. That's a great piece of advice. Next one I'm going to hit you with. Is there a particular book you've read over the years, Jack, that you've enjoyed? I'd recommend that, because, again, a lot of athletes spend time on the planes, on the trains, on the cars, on the coaches. There's time to read, and it's something that's creates quite a bit of debate and intrigue, I think, when people have a book recommendation. So is there anything that particularly stands out for you on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, James, I'm not really a big book person. It's something that I'm trying to get better at now. Probably a little bit too late, but
no, it's never too late.
The best place to start, I suppose, is now. So
yeah.
But when I was at I think it was Peterborough, when I was injured, I read The Chimp Paradox, and so yeah, I mean, obviously probably everybody's read that one, but
no, but it's a good one. It's a good book. If you haven't, it gives you a great perspective, doesn't it? What was the one I saw you on LinkedIn recently showing that you were diving into the property world? You bought a property book, wasn't it? What was that? Was your first 100,000?
Yeah, your first £100 estate agency. For Chris Webb, he's one of the gurus that I had online session with before, and yeah, he's been there, done it, decades in the industry. But yeah, he's a great guy as well.
There we
And
go. So there's a nice shout out to Chris, and he's, as you've already alluded to, when we're trying to build these training programs, we do bring people in, and obviously partnering with the Yopa, and they brought Chris in. He gave you some great insights, didn't he? And then
yeah,
as the reciprocity of this world, you went out, you bought his book, and we're all learning from each other. So that's a great one. And then last but not least, Jack. I know you've got a lot on your mind at the minute, so you might not be having a dinner party anytime soon. You've got a lot going on, but let's just say in a couple of weeks you can have a who's who. You can invite 3 people. You've got magical powers, so if they're dead, we'll bring them back to life. But dead or alive, anybody in the world, who would you want to sit round, have a dinner, have a few drinks, have an enjoyable evening with? Who's on the guest list?
probably go Jimmy Carr, Paul Gascoigne, and um,
I like it so far. It's not going to be a quiet
yeah,
table, is it?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm trying to balance it a little bit, but I'm not sure.
Well, there's a good starter
Yeah,
for
I
10. You
don't
got
know.
2
Yeah,
in there. No one's. I'll
I'll
come.
tell one of them to bring a friend.
Yeah, I'll come because I'd enjoy
Yeah,
their
Jimmy, you
company. I
come
think
as well.
it'd
More
be a
than
good
welcome.
night. It'd be a good night. Well, listen, Jack. I think obviously today's just been so enjoyable for me because, to your absolute credit, you're a guy with a lot on your plate. You've got responsibilities as a husband, as a dad. You've been trying to get back from injury. I know how hard you've worked on that. I know how frustrating it's been for you. And yet you've also had the presence of mind and the proactivity to say, I'm also going to be investing in my future. You've jumped on any number of calls with us. You're constantly engaged. Yeah, that's great, but it's not for me. That's great, but it's not for me. The classic example of what we want from athletes. Nobody's forcing you down a path. Have lots of conversations. You've given great do's and don'ts today. Any young athlete listening going, yeah, I probably do waste a bit of time. And there's someone who's done it for a long time telling me, relax, recover, but use your time wisely. And equally, you do get out there, network, ask questions. What's really nice is you're a living embodiment of all of that. And now Jack Baldwin Property is up and running. So, it goes without saying that we wish you the very best of luck. Anybody listening that wants to reach out, all of Jack's connections are on the show notes. Get in touch. He's as genuine in person as he seems on this podcast. And Jack, I hope that you determine exactly what you're doing on the football side of things and it's exactly what you want. And equally importantly, I hope Jack Baldwin Property becomes a huge success for you and your family in the future years to come. Thanks for your time today.
Appreciate that. Yeah, cheers, James. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everything that you and ATA have done.
No problem. You're very welcome. Cheers, Jack.
Thanks for joining us this week on our ATA podcast. If you found this conversation insightful and it resonates with your journey, please subscribe, follow the show, and stay connected with us for more insights, resources, and information on how we at ATA are supporting your preparation for life beyond the game.